I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously.
Shannon Sharpe just faced a huge public loss that no one expected. One moment, he was ESPN's top guy, living the good life, making big money, and loved by the media. The next moment, Disney and ESPN dropped him like he didn't even matter. This wasn't just a scandal, it was a complete disaster. Old lawsuits came back. Secret deals were exposed, and shocking audio clips started spreading everywhere. People inside ESPN turned against him. Disney's top bosses panicked, worried about protecting their clean image. So they quickly ended his contracts like they were nothing. His million-dollar career started falling apart right in front of him, and Shannon didn't even see it coming. Instead of quietly stepping away, people say he's secretly really angry. Some close sources say Shannon is planning a wild revenge move that could bring down a big part of the network. His name is everywhere now, and he might make things even worse before he walks away for good.
I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously. And we are looking into this very, very closely. And once we gather as many facts as we possibly can, we will go from there. And that is all he said. And I can mention his name because I received his permission to say that. I don't know what that means.
There's always been something about Shannon that didn't feel right. People noticed it but stayed quiet because he's Shannon Sharpe, a big name. A successful black man who made it to the top, someone many people looked up to. But let's be honest, Shannon has heart, but when it comes to making smart choices, that's where he starts to slip. No one's trying to take away his football legacy. He gave more than 30 years to the game and knows football like the back of his hand. When you put a mic or camera in front of him, he shines. During his time with Skip Bayless on Undisputed, Shannon was everywhere. His memes kept Black Twitter going during the lockdown. So when that job ended, it made perfect sense for Stephen A. Smith to bring him over to First Take.
To no one's surprise, reports are coming out that Shannon Sharpe's career with Disney is over. For those who aren't aware, Disney owns pretty much everything.
It was a good move for TV. Shannon had that classic old-school Southern style, drinking brown liquor, smoking cigars, wearing a durag, the whole vibe. Some people looked at it funny and said it didn't feel quite right, but he was super entertaining, especially when his show, Club Shay Shay, blew up. His interview with Cat Williams went viral in 2024, and after that, Shannon became unstoppable. Everyone wanted to work with him. There were even rumors about a huge $100 million ESPN deal, but then, out of nowhere, Shannon showed everyone he could still make wild choices. Older men dating younger women isn't really shocking. Diddy was almost 40 when he dated 19-year-old Cassie. Eddie Murphy has a bunch of kids and is married to someone much younger too. But Shannon went way too far. He was 54 and was rumored to be involved with a 19-year-old. Even Leonardo DiCaprio might have been surprised by that, and it didn't stop there. Things just got worse.
This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
There's a recording where Shannon reportedly told a woman he would choke her if she kept talking. And it's on tape, whether she was trying to trap him or not. Falling for something like that shows really bad judgment, and that's not the only tape. People say there's another video going around that should have never been seen. And Shannon didn't even protect himself with an NDA, a legal agreement to keep things private. Closing parenthesis. How can you be over 50, have millions of dollars, and still act like you're at your first college party? On top of that, remember the Instagram drama last year? Shannon has been collecting these messy situations like trophies, and now they're all catching up to him. After that viral moment when Shannon's private life exploded all over the internet, you'd think he would get serious, hire a lawyer, tighten his inner circle, and make sure everyone around him signed an NDA. But no, Shannon didn't do any of that. And now things are going really bad. Big companies like Disney and ESPN are stepping away from him like they don't even know who he is. It took less than 2 days for the whole thing to fall apart.
In my perfect world, This equates to Jay-Z, where the case ultimately dropped and Shannon is allowed to continue on First Take and continue to thrive and shine. And not just that, and have an illustrious career in the podcast stratosphere, doing Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco, doing Club Shay Shay, and ultimately gets this $100 million deal that he was all over the news about to sign.
ESPN tried to make it sound nice by saying Shannon was taking a break for personal reasons. But let's be real, people quickly found out that this break wasn't his choice. A source clearly said, "There are reports going around that Shannon Sharpe's time at ESPN is over." I asked someone connected to ESPN's production, and they said Shannon is still scheduled for First Take on Mondays and Tuesdays, nothing else. Any other day he's off is just a regular day off, but fans didn't believe that at all. The comment sections were full of people saying the same thing, "Shannon's done." Yeah, ESPN had his back during the first scandal, but this time it feels different. Even if he's innocent, people are still asking, why does a grown man keep getting into messy situations like this?
In my perfect world,
Stephen A. Smith, who supported Shannon Sharpe when he first joined ESPN, had to go on his own podcast and admit he personally talked to top Disney executives. He already understood what was really going on. This wasn't just a break, it was a quiet, slow push to get him out before football season started. They weren't trying to protect him, they were protecting their brand. But when the lawsuit made the news, it was game over. A 21-year-old woman filed a civil case asking for $50 million. And the accusations were serious. She said Shannon assaulted her, hurt her, and caused emotional damage during what he claimed was a consensual relationship. Shannon's team quickly responded, saying everything that happened was agreed on and part of BSM bondage, discipline, sadism, and masochism. They also said the woman was just after money, and then her lawyer, Tony Busby, the same lawyer going after big names like Diddy and Jay-Z, was pushing the case. But none of that mattered to Disney or the ESPN staff. Some people at ESPN even started to speak out, saying it was unfair to keep Shannon when women at the company had been fired for doing much less. When the lawsuit came out, it opened the floodgates. All the things Shannon Sharpe tried to hide came rushing out. His closet was packed. And when it blew open, everything exploded. First, people found out he has a long history of chasing very young, racially ambiguous women while putting down classy black women. There was one moment that really exposed him. Chad Ochocinco once tried to introduce him to Yvonne Orji, a beautiful, successful woman who stands strong in her values and is proudly celibate. She's exactly the kind of woman men claim to want. But Shannon laughed at the idea, embarrassed her, and treated her with loud, rude, and straight-up disrespect. That moment made it crystal clear that the kind of women Shannon really goes after don't look like strong, proud black women. When people on social media started connecting the dots, Shannon's pattern became obvious. Gabriela Zuniga, the woman suing him, is young, quiet, and looks white passing, fitting right into Shannon's usual type. But Gabriela didn't just call him controlling, she exposed serious stuff. She said Shannon secretly recorded her without permission, ignored her safe words, and crossed serious boundaries even when she begged him to stop. And when she finally tried to walk away, things got worse. Shannon allegedly offered her $10 million to keep quiet, but when she refused and went public, he accused her of trying to pull a shakedown.
Usually, companies use a morality clause when they're hiring somebody or considering someone who's potentially going to represent the company in a public way. The purpose of a morality clause is to protect the brand at the end of the day. Everything has to come back to the bottom line, and they have to be able to know that what they put out there is reflective of the brand and what we call in the industry brand safe. Disney is widely known for being very strict and not playing around when it comes to the morality clauses that they put into their talent's contract.
Even though things were already bad, the leaked audio clips made everything worse. One clip caught Shannon saying something so shocking that people had to listen twice. It was a terrible look. His legal team quickly tried to change the story, by showing old text messages where Gabriella supposedly asked for rough roleplay. Even some extreme stuff, but here's the problem: even if most of what they did was consensual, the moment Gabriella said no and Shannon allegedly kept going, that's it, game over. Consent is not something you give once and it's good forever. It has to continue, and the moment someone says stop and you keep going, that's a whole different issue. But Shannon's downfall didn't start or end with Gabriella. She was just the spark that set everything off. Suddenly, old scandals from his past started coming out, and they were loud. There's a clip of him joking, "Miss Nasty B, I have a Bible right by my bed. Lord, forgive me for what I'm about to do. Let me play Lord. I'm sorry, you always want to mess around." Reports say Shannon had issues with a female production assistant back when he was working on Undisputed with Skip Bayless. That situation was quickly handled with a quiet settlement worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was hush money. Then there's his ex-girlfriend Michelle Evans. Back in 2010, she got a restraining order against Shannon after a breakup where she accused him of assault. She said he forced her to her knees and assaulted her without permission. After that, Shannon was quietly removed from CBS Sports, and that story was hidden until now. Michelle later sat down with Tasha K and exposed even more. She described Shannon as someone obsessed with control with some disturbing habits in private. She called out his aggressive behavior, his manipulative energy, and showed the side of Shannon the public never got to see. And if you thought those old Club Shay Shay interviews with Monique and Cat Williams already looked bad, go rewatch them now. Monique literally begged Shannon on camera to stop chasing young girls who could barely order a drink and to find a grown woman instead. She saw the warning signs long before they became breaking news. But let's be honest, Disney and ESPN didn't drop Shannon because they suddenly cared about morals. They let him go because people inside the company, especially women, started speaking up. Sources said there was a big double standard. Women were getting fired over small mistakes, but Shannon was still coming to work while facing serious accusations. Tension was growing, and people were talking about lawsuits. Big ones, including discrimination and workplace favoritism. It was turning into another #MeToo-level scandal that was ready to explode. Disney saw it coming and decided to get ahead of it. They care about money, sponsors, and their clean image, not loyalty. Shannon became a big risk overnight. And here's the crazy part: while all of this was happening, Shannon still technically had his job, even though the accusations against him were worse than the ones that got other people fired. Disney knew they had to move fast or they'd face a public relations nightmare and a possible discrimination lawsuit. So they acted like Shannon was just stepping away until football season. But let's be real, that's code for he's not coming back, even if he does. His reputation is already ruined. It's sad. Shannon could have been even bigger than Stephen A. Smith. He had the charm, the fans, the TV success, everything. He needed to build his own sports media empire, but now, instead of chasing his dreams, he's trying to save what's left of his image and Stephen A. Smith. He's now caught in the middle of this mess. Let's not forget, Stephen A. fought hard to bring Shannon to First Take. He told the bosses it would bring big ratings and pushed to make it happen. Now, Stephen A. is quietly pulling back, trying to avoid the backlash, but it's too late. The truth is out and the internet is filled with receipts, tweets, clips, leaks, you name it. The signs were always there, but people ignored them because Shannon was funny. He went viral, and he seemed real. But behind the muscles and cigars was a man acting recklessly, burning bridges, and acting like the rules didn't apply to him. Now, that fire he played with is burning everything down. Shannon thought he was untouchable, to loved, to famous, to fall. He thought the spotlight protected him. He thought chasing young women and shading black women wouldn't catch up to him. He thought throwing around NDA letters and hush money would keep people quiet. But karma doesn't take cash. Now his empire is falling apart faster than he can post another gym selfie or thirst trap on Instagram. And if you think this is bad, hold on, Gabriella Zuniga's team is just getting started. Word is more audio, clips, screenshots, and maybe even full videos are on the way. Yes, videos. And rumor has it Shannon isn't the only one on those tapes. This is about to get even messier. If Shannon's fall already seems shocking to you, just wait for what's next. The next name that gets exposed could shake the entire sports world. If you're still here, you know what to do. Like the video, drop a comment, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Catch you soon.